Hey there, Laurelwood Grove. It's Mrs. Rosner here. If you don't know who I am, that's my son. Say hi, Connor.
Hi.
He's in first grade with Mrs. Tomczak and Mrs. Reynolds, and I teach in second grade with Miss Soroka and Mrs. Horsey and our student teacher, Miss Gibbons. So it is Black History Month. It's also my birthday month, February 21st, by the way. But more importantly, it is Black History Month. So what I would like to do is I would like to read a really awesome book we have another guest. Mrs. Kenzie! Hi, Kenzie! She's got cheese mouth, which is okay because Doritos do that. All right. Anyways, so what I would like to do, as she sits on my lap, is I would like to read a really wonderful book that Mrs. Stillwell and Mrs. Redding got for all of us last year. And it is called 28 Days, Moments in Black History That Changed the World. So, all right, buddy, thank you. And so what I'd like to do is I'm actually not going to read the whole book today because that would take a very long time, but I would like to read days 1 through 5, and then I'll come back on at some point and I'll read the next set for you, and probably a couple more sessions after that. So the point of this book is to really give you a history and an understanding of how really predominant figures that are Black Americans or were Black Americans, if they passed, have changed the way that the world is today. And what's nice about this book is the way that it ends. And I'm not going to give it away in case you have seen it already, but we're going to start with the first day. It's meant because there's typically 28 days in February. So unless it's a leap year, then there's 29. So we're just going to roll with it. And I'm going to start with day 1. Here we go, friends. So day 1, March 5th, 1770. That's a very long time ago. Crispus Attucks is shot by a British soldier, beginning the Boston Massacre and ultimately the Revolutionary War. And there's a really nice little poem here that I want to read to you. So Crispus Attucks was a man self-made. Crispus Attucks was a man unafraid. When the redcoats turned on the colonists with guns, Crispus Attucks stood tall and challenged each one. 1 shot, 2 shots, straight to the chest. Crispus Attucks went down, his heart put to rest. A slave, a sailor, a patron was he. Crispus Attucks struck the first blow for victory. First to defy, first to die, Crispus Attucks sacrificed for the flag that we hold high. And there you have it, friends. There is day 1. We're going to move right along to day 2. Day 2 is all about Dred Scott. So here we go. Here's a little preview. Handsome man. So here we go. So March 6th, 1857, the Dred Scott decision. So think they, people of African ancestry, are not, and they are not included, and were not intended to be included under the word citizens in the Constitution, and can therefore claim none of the rights and privileges which that instrument provides for and secures to citizens for the United States. They had for more than a century before been regarded as being of an inferior order and altogether unfit to associate with the white race, either in social or political relations, and so far inferior, and they had no rights which the white man was bound to respect, and that the Negro might justly and lawfully be reduced to slavery. He was bought and sold and treated as an ordinary article of merchandise and traffic whenever a profit could be made. That was from the Chief Justice Roger Taney, the U.S. Supreme Court. All right, friends. So Dred Scott decision was a really prominent one, and I do want to read you a little bit more that tells the story. So Dred Scott was born a slave in Virginia and was the property of Peter Blow. So that means that somebody actually owned him. When his master died, Scott was then bought by Dr. John Emerson, an army surgeon. Emerson traveled to Illinois and other parts of the modern-day Midwest, taking Scott with him. Scott went back to Mr. Emerson to purchase his freedom for $300 because he lived for a time in Illinois, a free state, and she refused. So Scott then took his case to court to purchase his freedom under the premise that he was a citizen of the United States. So this was about a court hearing where he actually bought his way to freedom. All right, day 3, we are talking about Robert Smalls, and I don't think many of you really would know who he is, so let's get to know him. So May 13th, 1862, Robert Smalls, a slave in the Confederate crew on a ship, commanders it, sails it north, and delivers it to the Union. Under cloak of night, planter disappears, stolen to freedom. So we're going to read a little bit, let me move that over, about what happened with him. So Robert Smalls became a wheelman or a ship's pilot and eventually a captain for the Union during the Civil War. He was the first Black captain of an American ship and ultimately achieved the rank of Major General. Robert was unable to read or write, but that did not stop him from speaking with President Abraham Lincoln about the Union using slaves in the military. He became a popular speaker and took that skill into politics, where he served 5 terms in the U.S. Congress working for the rights of Blacks. Amazing! Oh my goodness, this is getting good. All right, 2 more to go, and then we're going to pause, and I'll come back a little bit later. So we're on day 4. It says July 9th, 1868, the 14th Amendment. The Constitution overturns the Dred Scott decision. So let's see what that means. So all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction therefore or thereof are citizens of the United States and of the state wherein they reside. We are free to go. So check that out. The 14th Amendment allowed for all slaves to be free. And do you want to know who actually helped out with that? Abraham Lincoln. He was a pretty cool president. All right, we're on day 5. Oh my goodness. So if you are in 2nd grade, then you probably learned about this gentleman on one of your async days. His name is Dr. Daniel Hale Williams. Raise your hand if you know who he is. Awesome. So July 9th, 1893, Daniel Hale Williams successfully performs the first open heart surgery before the inventions of penicillin, antibiotics, or x-rays. So Daniel Hale Williams received his medical degree from Chicago Medical College in 1883. Upset that Black people were not allowed treatment in most hospitals, he opened Provident Hospital in Chicago, Illinois. Provident accepted doctors and patients of all colors. When James Cornish, a Black man, came into the hospital with a stab wound to his chest, Dr. Williams concluded, after observation, that Mr. Cornish had internal chest bleeding. Using very sterile techniques, Dr. Williams was able to avoid internal infection, and James Cornish would live another 20 years. How amazing is that? So good. Can you see it? Awesome. All right, friends. Well, that is days 1 through 5. I'm so happy to be able to read to you, especially a part of history. It's one of the loves of my life. So stay tuned. I'll see you guys back here for another reading where we will learn a little bit more about other Black Americans that changed this world. Bye, friends. Keep roaring with pride and potential. Say bye, Connor.
Bye-bye.